Hey everybody. So we're back for another episode of leather shop talk. At least that's what we're calling this right now, and I think it's a little different format than what's out there that I've seen anyhow. And I'm pretty much doing it more or less. I'm sure that tape's really loud on you guys with earphones on. Anyhow, let me explain about this tape. So this is just regular old Scotch tape, and I put about 3 layers on the back of these projects, and then I smush it down with a glass slicker like this, and that helps prevent your project from stretching. It really is necessary. You can do it either with packing tape, the blue masking tape, which I don't use because it's expensive. And I haven't cased this. I didn't have time, and it's the last tooled sling that has to go out for Christmas orders. So we're just gonna get it good and wet. And we'll probably have to add a little bit of moisture as we're tooling. And when I do this, I'm moistening the whole thing. You don't want to do just one spot because you can actually get a water stain. But if you just wet the whole thing, then you'll be okay and you won't get that. I like to take my glass slicker and just kind of slick it a little bit. Now what I was saying is that this is going to be pretty much the same format as the flint knapping side of this channel, and I'm just going to get on here and whatever I'm doing in the shop, not all of it obviously, but I'm just going to set up the camera and start working and talking, and that's a good format. And I will now this is the smallest I've ever done this deer here. It's pretty small, and it's going to be a little bit difficult to do, but I'll get her. And then this particular customer wanted this deer jumping over the log up top with initials down below, and then some fill-in tooling. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to line this out and get it set up and lay it all out. I might break this into parts and pieces. I'm not sure. Now this is a stylus. Those of you that are new to this leather work stuff, I think I'm gonna have to get a little brighter, better light in here. But we'll see. We'll have to roll with this for right now, as I don't have time for all that. I do have another light that I'm wanting to set up here, but I haven't had a chance to do that yet. Usually I don't care much for tooling animals this small, but that's what the project calls for. And all you're doing here is you're just tracing around what I've already drawn on here and transferring it to your leather project. This here is going to be a hole in the end of the log, and I'll show you guys how to tool that stuff and make it look like there's a hole in the end of it. And the color will bring this deer to life. And we're going to trace these letters out. I'm not sure about this camera angle, but we're going to find out. It looks like you can see most of what I'm doing. That last video you couldn't see very good through my hand. That still may be the case on some of this. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Eventually we're going to figure out a camera angle that works best, and lighting. So just bear with me on these leather videos. It's different than what I've been doing in the rock shop, because I got that all set up out there, and I know exactly where I need to be and how I like it to look and all the rest of that stuff, and I don't know that here yet, so just bear with me. So most of the people, or a lot of the people in the leather community, have no idea who I even am, and some do, but most don't, and that's kind of by design, I guess. Never intended on doing this. It just kind of flew underneath the radar, and I'm still gonna do that. Well, a little background on myself. I've been at this for a long time now. Full time in this shop for 13 years, 14 years almost. So I've been at this a little while. I was in construction prior to going into the leather business when I moved to Oklahoma. Originally from Alaska. Okay, so we got our basic layout here of what we're going to do, and we're going to cut this in with a swivel knife. I went over this on the last video, but these are my two main swivel knives I use. I have fancier ones and all that stuff, but I really kind of go to these two. They are my go-to swivel knives, and I use a ceramic bladed knife for long and straight cuts. I don't use it for detailed stuff. Let's see, we're missing a belly along here. Yeah, there we go. Now we got a belly on our deer, or we will have anyways. Okay, now that's just a strap with a little bit of polishing compound on it. So the camera will be on the wrong side because I'm right-handed, but later I'll be holding the tools in my left hand, so it shouldn't be as big a problem, I guess. Running off there a little bit. I ran off a little bit. I was staring over there at the monitor, seeing how this thing was, and ran off. It's all right. It'll be okay. It'll be all right. Straighten it all out in the tooling. All right. So now we gotta cut in our initials on our deer. So this won't be a full. Most of the leatherwork videos are full instructional, or they take an hour-long project and they condense it down into 5 minutes, and that's not going to be, if you look for that, that's not going to happen here. So this is going to be set up the camera, watch me work, and either you'll enjoy it and get something out of it, or you won't, I guess. But there will be instruction along with it, little bits and pieces here and there, but the whole video won't be just focused on, you know, I'm not going to do a bunch of videos that are edging and just tooling and you know, different aspects. Like, there's not going to be any specific one thing. I will do videos like that, but these here are going to be you know, just what's happening in the shop. And just like the napping videos, just turn it on and start talking. Some days I'll be more talkative than others. Depends on what's happening, how wore out I am usually. But okay, so here goes the deer. I don't know how big that looks on the camera, but none of this here is very big. I am going to be relying on color to help bring this deer to life, because it's only going to have so much detail in it, as small as it is. I don't believe I didn't originally draw this. This is out of at least the basics of it was out of a book or something that I bought. And let's see here. This I'm not going to cut that hole in the end. I'm just going to leave that there the way it is. And then I'll put the hole in when we're tooling. Okay, there's that. Alright, so, and we're not going to cut all this other stuff in. That'll just be some detailed stuff that we put in. And I'll try and zoom in on this a little bit so that y'all can see a little better when I'm tooling, and I'll try and keep it. I got this right here, because this tape right here, because that's about the center of it. So we'll try and stay in frame here. So this obviously wasn't cased correctly. I normally case my leather for 24 hours. I wet it down real good, put it in a bag, and then it sits in the bag for 24 hours, and case is real nice, but this I'm in a hurry. So let's see here. Trying to see if you can see that or not. I'm not sure how well you can see that. Trying to make sure it's not jumping focus also when I'm got the mallet up by there. So you have to forgive my mess ups here, because I am trying to look in the monitor and Got my spacing a little spaced out on the rope. Yeah, I was trying to focus on that mallet. So there's going to be a learning curve to this because I'm trying to look in this monitor and make sure it's not, because I've seen it jump a few times to focus on this mallet here instead of on the project, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure where I need to put this camera at to capture this. I'm going to move this a little bit and see what we can change here. All right, let's try that for a while and see how it goes. Now, I don't bring this around the end of my rope with this coarse beveler. I'll show you what I do on those. I've showed it in the last video also, but I'll show you what I do to finish that rope off. This bevel plays a bigger role in my finish than there we go again. I was staring at the monitor instead of paying attention to tooling over here and got that a little goofy. So for the end of this rope, we're going to go with a lined beveler like this. I don't. Some people come across this with a coarse beveler, but it don't look very good. And when you use a lined beveler, you can make it look like the rope's diving underneath the edge. At least that's the idea of what it's supposed to look like. Like the rope just continues under there and dives under. So let's tool our letters here, I guess. And this would be much better if it was cased properly, but I just don't have the time. So this thing's got to be finished and out the door and make it to... The mail's all slower right now because of Christmas. And this has got to make it under the tree. I'm not even sure where this is going to, but... got to make it underneath the tree, so and all you're doing here is you're just laying that tool right in that cut we made and then spinning around it. And if you can go around your tooling without picking up your tool as little as possible, you're going to be faster, and your tooling's probably going to look a little better. Normally, I like these really deep. I mean, those are, you probably can't tell, but those are pretty deep, and I like them that deep because normally I'm running dye in here, and I want that tooling to be part of the dam where the dye comes and hits and stops there and doesn't flow on up onto my letters. So my tooling also, and all this is all part of the plan. Now this one's going to have it's going to be just natural in the center portion of it, so there's not going to be as much of that, but that's a rarity when this isn't stained all around all of this here, at least on my stuff. So I've got a particular style that I do that I guess I have a particular look to my work. Which, you know, a lot of people out there, there's a lot of leather workers out there that when I'm looking through Facebook and stuff, I don't even have to see a name. I can see the work and I know instantly who it is. And I've had lots of people say that about my work too. And you want that because it's kind of like a singer, right? So if you got a singer, and kind of like, let's take country music for instance right now. Well, always really, since the late 80s into the 90s, you got a few that really stand out, right? That you can instantly recognizable. So someone who's on the radio now that's instantly recognizable would probably be Blake Shelton's instantly recognizable, but there's several of them out there that are, you know what I mean, instantly recognizable when you hear them, and they don't sound like everybody else. And there's a whole bunch of them that sound like just like everybody else. And if you're a singer and you don't have a unique sound like Chris Stapleton that makes you stand out, you know, you're probably going to have you might have a successful career, but you're not going to have the longevity of someone like a Chris Stapleton that has a very unique sound that stands out above everybody else. Oh, okay. Can't bump that. Don't bump that because the whole thing will fall over. It's just a piece of canvas. and I use it, run over my tooling like that, kind of just slickens it up some. And this is a modeling tool, just a round modeling tool. I got quite a few of these. I use, this is a Peter Main here, I use it a lot. And I use these Tandy ones a lot too. You don't need a fancy high dollar modeling. Most of the spoons, like these spoons here and this ball one here, works really well. Don't need anything super fancy. Although this Peter Mann one, there's certain things I use it for, and the spoon is shaped just right, and I really like it. Okay, so before we get to the deer up here, we're going to save that for last. I'm going to go over this part here and put the filler tooling in here. And I do something that's a little different than what a lot of other people do. Now this is production tooling, so I'm more or less anyways, I'm certain other projects I'll put more time into because the money's there to put the time into it. And other ones, the money's not there, so I just don't. And any of these letters that I think need some more attention, I'll spin around them again. A lot of people don't like to go over them twice, especially in a production kind of setting. But if it needs it, I'll do it. Especially when I haven't cased the leather correctly, like in this case, and so it's a little more difficult to tool. And this, you're not doing obviously this is just giving it some texture. It's not a full basket weave or any of that. Sorry, I believe I got out of the camera there for a second. I wonder if I can back this up just a little bit. Oop, wrong direction. I wonder if it'd be better there, so I can make sure I'm staying in frame. So I don't know that you guys need that much of a close-up, do you? I mean, you kind of see what I'm doing here. So I got to figure out some subjects that leather workers like to talk about. I know that some of my flint napping viewers are watching the leather also. And maybe you watch to fall asleep, I don't know. I can bore you to sleep. If I'm boring you to sleep and that's what you're looking for, something to bore you to sleep, then yeah, I appreciate you listening as you fall asleep. It's all the same to me. I definitely got to get a better light in here for doing this. Normally when I'm on the flint napping side, I just talk about whatever's happening at the moment, or caveman kind of stuff. I can't talk to you about all the latest and greatest and tools and everything else because I don't pay much attention to that. I'm more focused on making money with the stuff I got. So I'm not a hobbyist. I don't have time to play around with all that stuff. I've got several. I collect stone artifacts, and I also collect modern napped points, and of course I make modern nap points also. But I also collect a lot of leather stuff when I can. Not a lot, but I got some pieces from some people that I really like. I got pieces in there by Kathy Flanagan, Jim Linnell, Doris Marlene, James Geegan, and others. Hang up in there on the wall, and they're just people. If you're a flint napper and you're not familiar with those people, Jim Linnell's and Kathy Flanagan are both recipients of the Al Stillman Award, which is the highest award you can achieve in leather work. And that's a pretty big accomplishment to have received that. Okay, so we're going to use a camouflage tool, and at the bottom we're going to do a little sunburst. So we got the little double sunburst going, and then we're going to fill this in here. And this is actually going to serve in this, the groove right here actually serves as, on this particular layout, serves as my stitching, well, essentially a stitching groove, which will stitch all my back on. Normally I can tool one of these with a deer and whatever else up top in about 45 minutes. Sometimes it takes an hour. Carpal tunnel's a problem today. I'm having trouble holding this tool. I've got a herniated disc in my neck also, and it makes my arms go numb, especially at night. As soon as I lay down getting pressure on my neck, then my arms and hands all go numb almost instantly. And it's to the point now where they're numb during the day, like they are now. And making it difficult to work much as far as tooling for long periods. So I got to kind of break my day up so that I'm tooling for a while, and then I'm assembling, and then I'm dyeing, so that I don't have all the holding onto a tool is, for whatever reason, is a bit of a problem. I suspect all that, I expect some of this, I'm going to be having this neck thing fixed before too long, so I'm expecting that to improve, but we'll just have to see what happens. This is actually part of a double shoulder that I got from a friend of mine who sells some leather on the side, and he's down in Texas. And it's not Herman oak, but I gotta tell you, I mean, this isn't even cased properly, and it's actually tooling pretty doggone nice. Not bad. When this all gets antiqued and everything, I mean, it's gonna look pretty good. It should look real good. I'll probably put a picture of the finished sling at the end of this, so you can see how it came out. Because in this video, we're just gonna do this tooling. So I gotta take a pause for just a second, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I messed up and hit the wrong button, and I'm gonna have to piece these together, but we can do that. My video software I was using that I really liked just up and quit on me, and decided it didn't want to play no more, and wasn't recognizing my videos in my phone. I don't know exactly what happened. I tried to restart everything, and it just didn't seem to make any difference. So anyways, I still got to sort that out. I did a video on it on another video software, and it puts their stupid logo on there, and I'd paid for the upgraded one on the other one, so I'd really like to be able to use it. I just, for whatever reason, it's not recognizing my videos in my phone anymore. I'm not all that tech savvy. I do all my own website stuff and all that stuff for the leather shop and the rock shop. The leather shop website is DannyCollinsCustomLeather.com. I had a very successful Etsy shop for many years. I still have it there as Danny Collins Leather, but their prices have gotten so ridiculous, and they're running the company like a dictatorship. So if they decide that if you want your product seen, offer free shipping, otherwise your stuff won't come up in the thing, or just this or that, something else, which, you know, free shipping, fine, but there's no such thing as free shipping. I just add that in on the front side of it, you know, but it's not actually free shipping. At least when you have shipping options on there, then they can choose what method they want, you know. But their take on what they were taking out was just getting ridiculous. And not only that, but they also decided one of my biggest sellers is, you know, I sell a lot of rifle slings. I got pretty good designs for them, I think, and other people think so too. And I've built a pretty big following for my rifle slings, and I mean, I have people that order them every year, you know, customers that for years now have done they do Christmas shopping, birthday shopping, all that kind of stuff. They're a lot of loyal customers out there, and it's pretty cool. But anyway, so I got a pretty good following for the rifle slings and stuff, and in the midst of all the crazy shooting and stuff that was happening, and all that kind of stuff, they knee-jerk reaction. Of course, they wanted to shut down anything that could attach to a firearm. So You can still sell holsters on there, but you can't sell a rifle sling because it attaches to the gun, which doesn't make any sense to me at all. But just is what it is. They just got too big for their britches. And the other thing with Etsy is that it turned into, although it was, I mean, I appreciate Etsy. It really gave me my start. When I first set up my Etsy shop, I had no idea what I was doing, and it sat there for a little while, and I didn't have very much stuff on there, a few things, and one day I don't remember what I was doing, but I was selling. I had some forums I was selling my leather stuff through, and then I'm sitting there one day working, all of a sudden I hear ching, and I thought, what the heck is that? What notification is that? And that was my notification for Etsy that I had sold something. Had that cash register sound, and it didn't take very long, and it just took off, and I sold a lot of stuff with Etsy, but they just got to be too much. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. So I'm not sure that I'll ever turn that site back on. When they banned the rifle slings, I was just I appealed it and tried to reason with them, and they were absolutely rude. I mean, they have much bigger fish than me, but I mean, some of the letters they sent me were just they were not very nice. And the thing is still today, there are certain shops on there that are still selling rifle slings. They never did get shut down. And magically enough, they're almost all not American. So. It's kind of sad because there was I've got, I don't even know how many, hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews, and those reviews are literally, when you have a source and you got all those reviews like that, they're just, people see that and they feel comfortable buying from you. And the more 5-star reviews you are, the more sales you're going to have, and that's just the way that works. And let's see here. It's been a long time since I've napped one of these. I'm going to take this steep beveler here, and I'm going to bevel right there. So we've got this little bevel going on here, and then I'm going to take well, if I can find it, this tool right here. And what that does, that cuts in there. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but it actually makes a hole in there so that the tool, and then you can lift this up like this and get the modeling tool on it. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, or how that's showing up, but it's raised. It looks like it has a hole in the end of the log. And then we'll take, and these are lifters, right? And there's other lifters also. There's other lifters like this right here that you can use. So we got like these knots right here. So take this lifter, put in there just like that, and now there's a hole going in that log, right? and it's raised up on this back side. And you want to be careful not to slip off this, because these things are sharp. Alright, so we got some holes in our log. Do a little modeling around them. Okay. This needs a little more moisture on it, so I can. We're going to do some more to this gear. Ooh. It's a little tippy. Sorry about that. Doggone it, I just keep bumping things. I got intensely looking at that. Let's see. Alright, I got another tool here somewhere. I'm going to have to put some things away here so I can figure out what I did with what. There we go. There's the tool I'm looking for. Looking for this tool here, which will allow me to get in around these antlers and things a little better. Push this background back in here, When you're pushing this background back, it's making everything else look raised. All right, I'm going to do our camouflage tool here. We'll do another starburst. Another sunburst, I mean. I gotta quit looking at that monitor. Look at the monitor to see where I'm at. And when I do this, I come right over and I just let that tool hit right on that deer too. I will turn it some so don't mess my log up bad, but all right, well, that's going to conclude the tooling other than putting my maker's mark down here on the bottom. Let me do that real quick. Okay, so that's not going to conclude it because I just got to looking and I thought, well, you didn't even put any hair on your deer. So, got to add this little bit of texture here. Seems kind of blurry, I guess. I don't know. But we want a little bit of texture on here. Okay, we got some texture on our deer. I don't know if you guys can even see that or not, but we're just putting a little bit of texture on there. It's not quite done yet, but we want a little bit of texture on there, a little hair texture. And I usually come back with a really fine stylus tool and I'll add some more texture to it. And we already have our contours where we hit it with the modeling spoon and stuff like that. And make our hooves. You really can't get too much texture on there, or it's hard to, because you lose some of it in the dyeing kind of process. So if you can see that I just put a couple little fluffs of hair on his tail. Sorry, I should try to get this back. I don't think that was focused very good anyways, but okay, we got some texture in them. So that's going to conclude the tooling portion of this. And then when we dye this, it's going to add a lot of color to this deer, and it's really going to make it stand out and pop. And I'll probably put a video on the end, or my maker's mark. That's what that looks like. If you, yeah, there we go, I guess. I guess it's focused. Anyways, that's it. That's our tooled rifle sling, and that's what the whole thing looks like when it's all done, just like that. And we're gonna bevel these edges, and then I'm gonna dye it, and then put it all together. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.